Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss X-Men: Days of Future Past, starring Hugh Jackman, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Halle Berry, Anna Paquin, Ellen Page, Peter Dinklage, Ian McKellen, and Patrick Stewart, and directed by Bryan Singer. Now I remember seeing this in theaters thinking, is this gonna be the best thing about X-Men? Let's get into it. In the future New York City, mutants and humans who dare fight for them get killed by Sentinels. Then we move on to Moscow, where Kitty Pryde, returned by Ellen Page, and other mutants escape the Sentinels. And this beginning fight between mutants and Sentinels is rather sad, but these scenes are staged very well with good action moves. Kitty, Iceman, returned by Shawn Ashmore, Bishop, and others send the Wolverine, aka Logan, returned by Hugh Jackman, back to 1973 with Professor X, aka Charles Xavier, as an older man returned by Patrick Stewart, and an older Eric Lensher, played by aka Magneto, returned by Ian McKellen, to convince the younger version of themselves to stop Mystique, returned by Jennifer Lawrence, from killing Trask, played by Peter Dinklage, aka the man who invented the Sentinels. And I like the old cast returning with the new current cast, but it sometimes gets rather complicated with when Charles, the older one, talks with the younger one later on. It got kind of hard and confusing at the same time when we get to that scene. Logan arrives to the mansion in 1973 of the X-Men, and Hank McCoy, returned by Nicholas Hoult, answers the door and attacks Logan, and suddenly a young Charles, returned by James McAvoy, comes in, and Logan tells him from the future, that he's from the future, and wants to get Eric out of the prison he's held captive for killing President John F. Kennedy. And I like how young Charles and Hank and Logan share the scene together. It's very well put together, I must say. Logan, young Charles, and Hank go to Peter, aka Quicksilver, played by Evan Peters, to get help getting Eric out of the Pentagon, which is a prison in Washington, D.C. And Quicksilver is a standout in this movie. And this is a much better Quicksilver than in this movie, being portrayed by Aaron Taylor Johnson, especially when in the kitchen scene where he moves the bullets in his funny moves, while everyone moves slowly, and he's the only one moving quickly. That's why he's called Quicksilver. Mystique seduces a Vietnamese general, and I hate to sound sexist at this point, but am I the only one who thinks Jennifer Lawrence is not flexible? Because when she puts her foot on his neck, it doesn't look like it. And again, it might be the CGI. I hate saying that because of her, because it kind of hurts, because I'm a Jennifer Lawrence fan, okay? But this may be the first movie where she's giving a bad performance, in my opinion. While young Charles tries to save Mystique, Eric pulls a gun on her, and Logan has a meltdown about his future with William Stryker, and Hank stops Eric from killing Mystique, but puts Hank on some metal and to hang on to him until he escapes, and Trask wants to unleash the Sentinels. And I didn't think these scenes were working, because then it complicates the movie a bit more with Eric on the streets. Meanwhile, Mystique planning on killing Trask. And Logan, young Charles, and Hank are licking their wounds for now, and young Charles tries to find Mystique with the Cerebro, and doesn't want that future of his own. And older Charles has talk, and the older one asks the younger one to hope again. And I do like that scene, despite how confusing it is. Ooh, my goodness. Young Charles tries to talk to Mystique into not killing Trask, but she refuses and takes an airplane to Washington, D.C., and he with Logan and Hank go to Washington, D.C. to stop Mystique from ever doing that. Meanwhile, in the future, Sentinels find the hideout of the X-Men, and in the past, Logan, Hank, and younger Charles go to the Sentinel show, and Eric, having the helmet back again, forces a baseball field into the Sentinel show, and the Sentinels see Eric about to attack and use them against the humans. Meanwhile, in the future, Storm, returned by Halle Berry, fights the Sentinels and some other mutants with Magneto, the older one, and gets stabbed as well as Storm. In the past, Eric pushes Wolverine into the water and gets Trask as well as the past president in 1973. And Eric goes on live national television to make a speech of mutants are the future, and in the future, Magneto says all those years wasted on fighting each other in the future. In the changing past, Mystique shoots Eric in the neck and almost shoots Trask, but she puts the gun down and escapes with Hank. In the future of the X-Men, almost collapses until, thanks to Mystique not pulling the trigger, which I was on the edge of my seat when all this is going on, Logan wakes up to a brighter future of the X-Men, and Jean Grey and Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, are back, and credits roll, which is a pretty good ending, and the after credit scene is a powerful lead up to Apocalypse, which I'll talk about in a few weeks. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.0 out of 10. This chapter of X-Men is satisfying, but the only thing that needs to improve is Jennifer Lawrence's acting and the confusion of this movie. This got me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and it was a gripping stay-in-your-seat kind of movie. I recommend it to a fan of X-Men and not to people who haven't seen any of them. So I would like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with a new taste of X-Men, Deadpool. And until next time,